another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is, game, set, and match.
Hello and welcome to the 2024-25 APTA Tour. We're live from the Short Hills Club, Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the Short Hills Invitational, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors, Volley and Corient. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors: JP Morgan Private Bank, Maplecrest Ford Lincoln of Union, Master Athletics, Spiro Harrison and Nelson, the New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, Club Pilates, Paper Ribbon and Wrap, Center Court Padel, Suzanne Emmerich of Keller Williams, Premier Properties, T-Spa, and the New Jersey Flex League. I'm Patty Hogan along with Steve Sullivan calling women's semifinals action between tournament number 2 seeded team of Hanisch and Zubori up against Lopez and Page. Welcome, Steve.
Patty, great to be here. Super excited for this match. So, we have 4 of the best players in the game playing, all wearing black. In the near court, just to orient ourselves, I'm sure the jackets will come off. We have Florentina Hanisch in the deuce court, near side, with her partner, Anna Zubori. And on the far side, we have Taya Page in the ad court and B. Lopez in the deuce court. Our chair umpire for today is Johan Carlson. It's a semis, it's a Grand Prix, best 2 out of 3 sets, full scoring. Really excited for this match. These two teams have played each other a few times this year. 2 finals early this season. Baltimore, Hanisch Zubori beat Lopez and Page in the finals. And then a few weeks later, Westchester, another sort of finals matchup, Hanisch Zubori win. So this is a premier matchup. It's a Grand Prix, not a surprise. Lots of skills on the court tonight, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Steve, can you tell us how the players got to the semis?
Yeah, so let's take a look at the draw. So this is the semis, round of 32 draw. Pretty, easy couple rounds. Hanisch Zubori, an 0-0 in the first round. Second round, a little tighter, 3 and 4. And then Cruz Nicolescu, 2 of the better players in our game, and Hanisch Zubori played pretty much perfect paddle. I watched a bit of that in the live stream. That was a quarterfinal matchup. And Lopez Page had a couple easy matches as well, and a really interesting matchup with Alexan and Lalic in the quarterfinals. Really nice first round or first set of that match, but Lopez and Page prevailed 4-1. So this is the semi. So it's been a long day of paddle. This is their last match of the day. So these teams are going to bring everything they have tonight.
Yeah, Steve, you can see the background. Short Hills Invitational always brings out the best, and they bring the best competitors. Everybody wants to come play this tournament, whether it's a Grand Prix or not. Everybody comes to Short Hills for this event. You can see all the people around the courts. Super festive atmosphere here, and I just love how in between the courts, everybody's just standing room only, getting a close-up look at their favorite players. Just so much talent everywhere you look here at Short Hills this weekend.
Yeah, so much talent, the best of the best. It's a premier, event. We call them Grand Prix. There's 4 of those that sort of are the big events of the 20, week schedule leading up to the Nationals. But this is also, this Saturday night at Short Hills, I guess, is known as sort of the biggest party in paddle, right?
Oh, it is. One of them every year. You can count on that, Steve.
Yeah, so it looks a little chilly. Both Zubori and Hanisch are wearing the mitts on their hand, so that sort of paddle mitt, which is probably the warmest thing you can put in your hand. Sometimes it makes the mobility of switching grips a little bit difficult, but clearly they're all wearing some big jackets, so it's a cool night. I think we have some weather, maybe 3 to 5 inches on the horizon coming in later tonight. So,
well, Steve, I hope it's later tonight.
Yeah.
Someone just told me that it could be an hour and a half away, but I'm not sure about that.
So it is, so it's going to be an interesting, night. Obviously, we have the women's semis, and later on this evening, the men's semis. Do we have men's semis later tonight as well?
Well, the men's semis actually, I messed up the schedule because it's moved around a little bit, Steve. Men's semis are tomorrow.
Okay.
due for a 9 o'clock start. Then women's finals, and then men's finals.
Yeah, hopefully these matches can get in. There's still another men's match, quarterfinals playing in the other court.
Yep, you
Looks
can
like
see
we have-
McNerney and
yeah.
Morgan over there to the right of the screen. And then on the other stream, great, another men's quarterfinal underway. So the guys will finish up at the quarters today, Steve, and the ladies will wrap up play here at Short Hills tonight.
So what are
Steve-
you expecting, Patty? I think we're going to see a lot of firepower. Last few weeks, Hanisch has been really hitting her forehand really well, being a little bit more offensive, a little bit more aggressive, playing with joy, as some of us say down in Baltimore. But obviously, Pejic and Lopez have some just huge firepower as well. And then, of course, Zubori's got every shot, regular trick, skill, spin in the game. So I'm looking forward to a lot of different action tonight.
Yeah, and these, both of these teams have been in the top 4 in the country throughout the season. Here, Steve, and Pejic and Lopez were the newly formed team over the summer league. They've been a wonderful addition on the women's tour, and they're the real deal, Steve. They can play defense, they can play offense. They have variety of the overheads, which you have to have in this game to be able to open up the court. So it's an intriguing matchup, and Lopez and Pejic have no fear, and they don't care what Hanisch Zubori's resume is. They every time they walk on the court, they go out to win it, and they're thoughtful young players, and even though this is their first season of the tour together, when you see them, they can play lights out paddle, and some people say they're a legit shot at a national title. The first year together this year.
So I mentioned, Patty, earlier in the season, third week on the tour calendar, Hanisch Zubori beat Lopez and Pejic in Baltimore in the finals. And it followed Lopez and Pejic just playing flawless paddle in the semifinals against Burris and Elliott. And it was sort of maybe a little bit of a wake-up moment that this team is not only for real, but I think you're right. They're probably going to compete not only tonight for Short Hills, but they're likely, a very likely top contender for nationals at Philly Cricket in a few weeks.
Yeah, Steve, in the quarters, Hanisch Zubori, just a dominant performance, taking out Cruz and Nicolescu without losing a game, and just high-level play. I mean, I've never seen both players at the same time be lights out like they played in that match. And, your point is you saw Hanisch bringing it a little bit more offense. She's watched enough matches to hear enough things that she, even at the high level that she already plays at, she's continuing to retool and add to her game. And, she's definitely took the mindset in that last match that when she was going to get her look on her forehand, she was going to take her shot, and she made an incredibly high percentage, Steve. And it takes away players just being able to dump the ball. Nicolescu and Cruz tried early on in that match, and every time they took it over to the Hanisch forehand, she made them pay.
All right, it looks like they're getting settled here.
Yeah, good shot.
I think we're all back
Pejic
on the court. All right, so the near side, just to reorient, in the pink pants are going to be Hanisch Zubori.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hanisch.
welcome to the Short Hills Invitational Women's Grand Prix semifinals. This semifinal matchup is a best of 3 sets with tie breaks. Introducing the players. On my right, from Stanford Yacht Club, Taya Pejic, and her playing partner from Orange Lawn, Beatrice Lopez. On my left, from Somerset Hills Country Club, Florentina Hanisch, and her playing partner from the Country Club of New Canaan, Ana Maria Zubori. Pejic, Lopez have won the coin toss, have elected to receive. Ladies, good luck and have fun.
All right, Ana Zubori serving near side. The Lopez freely swinging away in the first point of the match. It's nice to see.
Love 15.
Good recognition. Saw a little opening straight up the line, and Paige just hung on to that forehand, waited a little bit, got it to the open spot.
I do. Yep.
Not sure if that was the practice ball or there's a defect in the ball, but they're gonna.
Yeah, I think it was a practice ball, and they just realized it. Again, you see Paige
15 all.
going up the line, Steve. 2 straight shots. Just kind of, I think, getting, oh my gosh.
15-30.
If she, by hitting up the line, even though it's not her highest percentage shot, Steve, it just gets her, it forces Zubori and Hanisch to cover. She's setting them up for other shots.
15-40.
Yeah, what do we say? It keeps that net player honest. The best players in the game tend to be active, move around, anticipate shots.
Game. Wow. Lopez Page. Lopez Page are winning the first set 1-0.
So, Steve, last match, flawless serving by Hanisch and Zubori, and early break here for Lopez and Page. Little nervous start there. Little shaky serving game there.
Yep, better at 0-0 than at 4-all. So now Taya Page in the green on the near side serving this game. Sometimes you mentioned the Cruz Nicolescu quarter, 0-0, flawless paddle. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a little bit unsettling that you haven't really been pressed. It wasn't a competitive match. I think there were a lot of good points, but they look a little bit tight these first couple games, but it's a little bit early. So let's see if they can settle down and extend some points here.
And Steve, so much of this, is like the mindset, and Lopez and Page are so good as a team that, Zubori and Hanisch know. They played a flawless match the last match. They're going to have to play again at a really high level to take them out. One of the things we've seen over the years is phenomenal lobbing, particularly from Floor Hanisch, but she doesn't want to be known as a phenomenal lobber anymore. She wants to bring it as well. But I think one of the keys for Lopez and Page will be, Steve, how they, their court coverage, and will the variety of lobs that Hanisch and Zubori hit, be able to break them down, or will they be able to dictate and control the net? And right there you can see, they shifted way over. Earlier in the season, they kind of didn't play a big shift, and you didn't see as much of a stagger. You still see a little bit of confusion with them in the middle at times, but they're so fast, Steve, that even if they kind of screw up and take the wrong shot, they seem to have the ability to come up with an amazing hands play on the very next ball. Wow.
Really nice placement there by Zubori.
30-15.
All right, they are warmed up now. Great point. Nice transition there. Very steady sort of move into the net and transition by Zubori. You mentioned, Patty, that Hanisch has been retooling, working on her game. A lot of us who sort of probably too much follow social media. She's very active. Florentina Hanisch has a very active social media profile on Instagram. She's very open. I think it was after the Fairfield Open when they lost to Boris and Elliott, maybe had a chance to win that match. She was very open about didn't feel great about her performance, felt she let Zubori down, and very sort of openly on social media is like, I'm going back to work. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to practice. I'm going to work on the things. I need more confidence. And, been playing very, good paddle since then. And I think, it's not just the club player, the intermediate player that needs to work in their game, but these teams, they're such high-level athletes. They're such competitors. They're always trying to be better, and it's really nice to see that, one of the best teams in the league and one of the best players in the game, Florentina Hanisch, really sort of saying, I'm going to get better. I want to get better. We can do better as a team. And I think some of her aggressive forehand play you saw in the last match is, part of that.
40-30.
And Steve, the interesting thing to me is that, this game comes down to matchups. And, what offense does Floor need to bring to win this match? To be determined. In the last match, she got a ton of looks, and she was crushing it, and her forehand was a huge factor in the outcome of their quarterfinal win over Cruz and Nicolescu. Whereas here, her lobbing and her spots lobs and her ability to sort of make her opponents cover a ton of court playing the net, that might serve her better earlier on in this match.
Good point. It's so, important that the team is gelling and that each of them can play off each other. I think you and Guy Moore in the last match were commenting on, Laura Hanisch's ability to sort of play at a certain level allows Anna Zubori to be Anna Zubori. Like, allows her to play her game, with maybe a little less pressure, doesn't have to press as much, doesn't feel like she has to do as much. It's certainly important that the two sort of figure out how they're going to complement each other, because it's not always going to be the same thing from both players.
Right, and you look at a team like Burrs Elliott.
Game. Lopez Page. Lopez Page winning the first set, 2-0.
Oops, sorry, Steve.
All right, so first little jump ahead in the match. So two love, Lopez and Page. Floor Hanisch here serving.
So when I was talking about matchups and thinking about Hanisch's lobbing versus driving, what she needs to do, I think their original formula has put them as number 2 in the country. Number 1, Burrs and Elliott, they're number 1 because they can both bring the offense. So, you don't really, when you're like, okay, where do we reset? Where's the safe spot? There's very few safe spots. So I think, to Hanisch's credit, with them, there'll be very few safe spots as she incorporates a more aggressive look, although she might not need to be that aggressive in certain matchups, and the liability with Page and Lopez a little bit will be their net coverage on lobs. And you just saw it a little bit there. So I think the success of Hanisch and Zubori in this match will be more dependent on Hanisch's usual, amazing spot lobbing. And it'll set both of them up off of it.
Yeah, that is paddle in essence, right? Using lobs to move the other team, using depth to create opportunities, move people up and back. She's one of the best, if not the best at it. And you tend to have a role on a team. And I think we're seeing her role maybe, shifting around a little bit from defense to offense. But I think you're right. That is, I think, still the recipe of, finding a way to keep Page and Lopez moving, opening up the court. If they're not in sync, that's probably going to give them the best opportunity. And to your earlier point, there's not going to be a safe zone. So the better they lob, I think they're just going to have more and more success through this match. Really nice coverage there by B. Lopez.
I mean, all 4 players, Steve, are supreme athletes, and their movement is just so, it just seems effortless to watch them cover the court.
30
Just
all.
missed it.
Steve, you see how deliberate Hanisch, she's really worked over the couple of seasons, and her serve has improved vastly from a few years back. And you know, the fact that, you know, she's so deliberate. You see she takes her time. A lot of people, you know, club level, Steve, you see them catch a ball from a prior point, and it's one continuous motion where they go, serve, set up, and swing, where you can see how deliberate she is. She's got her routine. It's just like golfers, Steve. They've got their putting routine, and you can see a real deliberate routine that Hanisch has established. And, you know, I hate to say it, but she rarely faults.
Yep, you don't want to bring the commentator's curse there, but no, I think it's not just the routine, the muscle memory of a routine, but
40,
nice volley there.
30.
Really being thoughtful and intentional, right? Coming up in your head with, you know, a plan, getting your heart rate down, thinking about, you know, how you're going to move to the net. There's a lot that goes through their mind, and you're right. Most people rush through that process, but it's nice to see, you know, how methodical and thoughtful she is about, you know, stepping up. And certainly it's a shot she's been working on, to your point, the last couple of years.
And, you know, when you can serve effectively and you can serve the ball deep and move it around and keep your opponents a little off balance, you know, it takes away a lot from the return of serves. A lot of people, I'll see them play a match, stand in the exact same place and serve the exact same serve for 2 sets. And it's like, well, what could I have done differently? Move your serve around a little bit.
Advantage, Lopez, Page.
I think Zubori got caught watching Taya Page moving a little bit forward.
You know, we've talked about Hanisch, Zubori, what great front runners they are when they play. Steve, Page and Lopez, I think they're similar. I think they just gain confidence. But to their credit, for a really young team together, they seem to stay in the moment throughout the matches. And that's what makes them a real special team.
Lopez, Page. Lopez, Page are winning the first set 3-0.
So, Steve, 2 breaks, you know, kind of surprising. I don't think I've seen Zubori and Hanisch both be broken in their first 2 serving games.
Yeah, two breaks. I mean, Lopez and Page are playing well, and Hanisch and Zubori just look a little bit unsettled. They're not confident. Their movement, you can also sort of see them stepping a little bit, not perfectly to the right spots. But, you know, Page and Lopez are swinging away. I think it was the second point. B. Lopez hit 3 cannons of forehands in a row. So this is a big ball. And sometimes, you know, it's cold. You have to get used to the pace a little bit. They will settle down. They will sort of come into their own, but they're just a little bit off kilter at the moment. So, yeah, quick start by Lopez and Page, and, you know, that they rightfully have taken advantage of it. B. Lopez serve.
1-15.
Big forehand by Hanisch there, but I think Lopez and Page, a little miscommunication on who should cover that volley.
Steve, the other women's semifinals will get underway shortly. Morgan and Sakura. Who are they playing against, Steve?
I believe they're playing against Burris Elliott, the number 1 team in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. Great night of paddle to, you know, put on display the best of our sport. So it's nice that all top 4 seeds made it. I think the fans at the Short Hills Club are in for a treat.
15 all.
So that point, it's just vintage Zubori. Patient, handsy, moves forward. You know, she loves those points, those cat and mouse sort of close contact points, and I think she's just a little bit, she's still trying to sort of find her range and find her, maybe her energy level.
Yeah, and your point there, she loves those exchanges, and she wins most of them because she keeps moving forward when she's in those exchanges, and she's got phenomenal hands.
Good communication, most of those balls, even if they're, not perfectly in question, you hear Pejic and Lopez communicating, making sure it's clear who's taking what ball. Sometimes it's just nice to calibrate and talk a little bit during the points.
Well, and I always say, Steve, that, and as a player, if you communicate from the very beginning and on the early, like really early, and make decisions, then it helps you in crunch time and like, those huge points. If you haven't talked your way up to that point, it's really awkward then at that point where it just becomes routine when you've communicated the entire time. And that's why you'll see most of the top teams, every lob, someone calls it out so that there's never a screw up in coverage. Or rarely, I would say. You can see a lot of overhead variety just in this point alone, Steve.
Yeah, it's a great, both teams are sort of playing it at a high level, but also a little bit patiently. A little bit of miscommunication there, but you can just see the level of talent from Pejic. Rollers to different screens, cutter overheads. She's got an ability to move the ball
And
as good as anybody in the game.
Right, and then you look at that, Steve. The overhead that won the point was an off-speed ball up the middle of the court and just caused a decision to be made by Hanisch and Zubori, and one of the few times that you did see a screw up in their communication. But Lopez and Pejic should keep that in mind and use that middle spot, at times. Because you never know if Zubori's going to be swooping in and, Hanisch is looking to stay super engaged on every shot. She likes her two-handed backhand a lot, so that'll be an interesting spot. Shout out to Karen Jedlik. She handles the announcing for the APTA, took over for Ann Waldron. They both team up and do a wonderful job, especially when they bring food. Steve, did you just get a pretzel? Because I just got.
I did not. I'm a little bit jealous.
You're a little far from. I can't hand it to you, Steve. I'm sorry.
Couple transitions here in this point.
Steve, I was worried about the communication screw up with the outfits from Lopez and Pejic here, but it doesn't seem to be bothering them.
Yeah, there's a little more outfit synchronization.
Right. Well,
this season it feels like
Lopez was a little cold. She's got an extra layer on, Steve. That's all.
Yep.
You'll see the matching outfit before soon.
Yeah, pre-weather, a little chilly out there. In the warm-up, Hanisch and Zubori, we commented, not only had big puffers on, they had the racket mitts on, that big fleece, hand warmer. You see in the NFL as well. So yeah, it's a game, that we play in the winter. You tend to warm up. I'm sure as this match moves on, the intensity, the energy level, and they're going to start sweating in full matching gear, I expect.
Steve, you just listen to the sound the ball makes from all four players. Just such great, pure ball striking.
Yeah, I mean, the level of this game is probably an order of magnitude better than the first three games. And, they're battling a, very deep, deuce point here. It's still 3-0. It's been a long, hard-fought game. I think this is probably a important game for Hanisch and Zubori to sort of get on the board. But yeah, all the credit to Pejic and Lopez, really playing not only smart paddle, but bringing their firepower at the right moments.
Let cord tweener.
Was waiting for it.
I don't think I've seen it off a let cord.
I don't know how. She's one of the most creative rackets professionals I've seen. Yep, behind the back, tweener.
Hanisch, Zubori.
Incredible hands, Anna Maria Zubori.
She's getting fired up. She's firing up that crowd. She wants them on her side.
Yeah, these players, they work so hard. They're such amazing athletes. It's great for them also to have a big crowd and engaged crowd cheering. This is where it makes them feel good as well to sort of showcase their skills. So it's this is what you want. I don't know, from a Grand Prix. I think we're going to get it on Saturday night at the Nationals in Philly as well. This is the scene you want.
Pejic,
Saturday
Lopez
night.
Lead the first set 3-1.
Ah, there it is, Steve. Get ready.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, work on that shot.
Really nice. No, but this is the environment. This tournament, Short Hills, Saturday night's notorious for their great social atmosphere. But Saturday of one of these tour events, it's when the fans come out. We've seen bands, we've seen cookouts. It's just really a great environment. So yeah, smart for Zubori. Use the crowd, try to get a little more energy on the court. She can absolutely do that. And that could just be the little bit of energy change she needed.
Just out. 15, love.
And I'm going to do this.
15 all.
So Zubori was broken to start the match. Hanisch was broken in the third game of the match. Lopez Pejic, if you just joined us, went up 3-0, and now Hanisch Zubori on the board 3-1. Semifinals from the Short Hills Invitational.
15-30.
It almost seemed like Hanisch hesitated. I think she thought the ball was going out.
Yep, I think you're right. She didn't look completely settled. I think her first instinct was it was going to go out, and probably not the best attempt, but a little more confidence than execution, I think.
And you
15-40.
see that pressure that Pejic applied, Steve? She saw that Lopez, she had confidence in Lopez was taking a swing on that forehand, and she just moved in, and I think she caused Hanisch to peek up and look at her instead of at the ball. It just happened again.
Game. Lopez Pejic. Lopez Pejic lead the first set 4-1.
All right, did you know that Volley has thrown 5 million balls to players working on their game? Don't get left behind. Get your reps in with the Volley. Whether it's day or night, you're in control of your training. Volley offers world-class training on demand, helping you sharpen your skills and level up your game whenever it fits your schedule. Ready to join the movement? Start training smarter with Volley today.
So Steve, Lopez Pejic up 4-1 on Hanisch Zubori. Hanisch Zubori earlier that match where they took out Cruz Nicolescu, just played, such a phenomenal match here. But we've got a totally different matchup, and Lopez and Pejic bring a lot of power, a lot of different options, a lot of variety on the overheads. And they are a really quick team. They cover a lot with phenomenal hands And they're matching up beautifully right now in this match, and they are number four team in the country. And there's nothing they'd like better than pull off, a win here in this match. And they think they can do it for sure.
You mentioned early on, Patty, they're very confident. They play, carefree, not, carelessly, but carefree. And, they have just an unbelievable positive energy. They have a lot of offense. They're not afraid to use the offense. I see them lobbing really well. It looks like the middle is their spot. They're not really doing too much else. But, in the last game, I think that miscommunication by Hanisch and Zubori down the middle, Floor went back for a deep, backhand high, volley. And that was the point where, you mentioned they put a little pressure on Zubori. And, they're playing tactically very well as well. So let's, this is a game of momentum swings. They're up 4-1. They've been playing really well. Let's see if, one of our best teams here can turn the tables.
Yeah, you can see a lot of off-speed balls hit in this. A lot of balls up the middle, off-speed, no pace.
Love 15.
Sorry, not sorry. That's, absolute perfect execution. She was thankful to get the net, but that's vintage Zubori. Really uncorks on that with a really nice shoulder turn.
That's Page serving, and in all black, the ponytail. B. Lopez just hitting on the near side, far side. Deuce court, Fleur Hanisch on a Zubori over there in that ad court. In the signature pink and black outfits. Again, I like how they're using the middle and stretching, pulling Zubori way over. I think that's a good tactic for Page and Lopez. Kind of keep, just not providing any offensive opportunities. Let Zubori create her own. Just like, if she wants to move all the way over and create it, they'll let her. And look at
15,
the hands there, Steve.
Oh, heads up.
Yeah, just Lopez stayed home, kept it simple. Didn't try to do too much with it. Obviously, when Zubori winds up for that forehand, a lot of people would retreat. Just sort of kept it simple and hit it back to her, and completely, caught Zubori a little bit off guard.
Steve, a shout out to everybody, the Short Hills Club members, Brian Skinner, an amazing team of volunteers pulling off this event all weekend long. 3-day event, over 440 players. And we'll wrap it up tomorrow. And once where are we headed on the tour? We've got 2 more stops before Nationals, Steve?
Yeah, Still City off to Pittsburgh next week, and then Indy before coming back to Philly Cricket for the Nationals, March 7th through 9th. So, this is week 16 of 20, or 17 of 20. So we are coming towards the big event at Philly Cricket.
$15.30.
Steve, another big event being played today at Radley Run Club with Heavy Hearts. They're Lori Hissey, who's loved by all in the sport of platform tennis, passed away recently, and they're having an event today. And I heard there's 74 teams who signed up. There's a lot of love for Lori in Philly.
Wow. Paddle's definitely a game about, community. The social dynamic is something unique and special to platform tennis that I don't see existing in any other, sport. And, there's a lot of people, as you mentioned, not only that put on these types of tournaments, but the standouts in all of our communities who do so much to keep us all together. Yeah, they mean a lot to people.
30 all.
B. Lopez with a nick. Taya Page serving in green.
40-30.
Trying to keep this momentum and this 4-1 lead intact. Game point.
And you see, Paige can bring it on a serve. She's got a beautiful serving motion. I jinxed her.
Deuce.
You were speaking during her motion, I think, was the problem.
I think that's what totally screwed her up. No, but I love watching these young players who come to the game and they don't have any fear. They don't worry that they only get one serve, and they know the importance of being able to go big and add some pace and spin.
Advantage, Lopez Page.
So that's twice B. Lopez is sort of, that one is a little bit uniquely, played, but sort of goes behind Zubori and catches her off guard. Anna Zubori is, one of the best athletes in the game, and that extra athletic, fast first step mover, sometimes, hitting in front of them to the open court is not the play. And very interesting to see B. Lopez catch Zubori off guard with two sort of shots behind her.
Well, and
just
the
right
thing is,
spot.
Steve, right, we just have not seen that many women who are willing to take on Zubori that way. And, Paige has she doesn't lack for any confidence, and neither of these players do, and that's why they're such a great team. They don't worry about the what ifs. They're just going to go play, and they're playing to win. They don't worry about what's going to happen on the downside, and that serves them well out here. And so it doesn't matter what's on Zubori and Hanisch's resume. They're just out here, and they like to challenge them because they think their hands can stand up to anything they might get from Hanisch and Zubori.
Advantage, Hanisch, Zubori.
No, I think we're back to deuce. Yep. Yeah, good time to sort of take a second, communicate, calibrate, super important game if they're going to stay in this first set.
Sorry, B.
Hanisch, Zubori.
Sorry, B, but
Not really.
not really, but it's sort of the right spot. That's the one trap with a really big, spinny, kicky serve that comes off really, really high. It does expose the net player, and I think, that was just the right spot, and I think B. Lopez couldn't keep up with it.
Game, Hanisch, Zubori. Lopez Page lead the first set, 4-2.
So the big serve didn't pay off right there.
No, and especially for the righty in the deuce court, someone who's got a backhand like Flor Hanisch, that ball can sit up and sort of move into the court and really just become a sitter. So, all right, 4 serving 2, Flor Hanisch serving.
Beautiful serve up the tee. Really, and Lopez, see how far she moved over to get her forehand? Beautiful lobbing spot from Hanisch out of that deuce court. And again, Lopez is looking for that forehand up the middle. She's got to be careful because if she goes a little too far, the hands of Zubori and Hanisch can stick it behind her back in that deuce corner.
15 love.
Steve, quick shout
absolutely.
out to David Chelson, Master Athletics. Dave's enjoying the action from up in Maine. Thank you, David, for everything you've done to help grow the sport of platform tennis. Sorry, Steve, but I had to get that in.
Absolutely, and I think you mentioned B looking for that forehand and needing to move into the center. Oh, what a nice patient coverage there from Hanisch. The best volleyers, and you saw Florentina Hanisch on that prior point. Wow.
15 all.
Again, hitting behind, down the line. It's been very successful so far. Hanisch and Zubori, if they move to the right spot, yeah, you're right. Lopez has to be really careful because she could absolutely open herself up to that sort of simpler volley to the open court. So nice energy here. Nice little comeback that last game from Zubori and Hanisch.
30-15.
But you see all the players, they're all like looking to cheat inside the baseline, and but these guys can make each other pay for that move. And that's the fine line, figuring out how to apply pressure but not be predictable in the pressure you're applying necessarily.
Really nice spot.
Yeah.
Really nice spot.
Yeah, and transitions, Zubori and Hanisch, they were both retreating big time. They probably had to throw up a lob there. Page and Lopez's hands are way too good to drive that ball in transition. Usually it doesn't work out well off of a drive.
So even though she's going, righty forehand into the ad court, I jinxed her.
30-40.
Just a lot of variety, side, down the line, backside. That's really a great sort of instruction of, you can still mix it up. Even if you're attacking one player and it's a little bit repetitive, there's a lot of different looks you can give her.
Yeah, and right now you see Lopez, she was way over toward the middle before her partner even hits the return. That's the look she wanted. And Zubori hit it right over to that deuce court, and here we go.
Deuce.
It's good overhead. She puts that spin, she got that ball to bounce up, and a little bit, really tough ball to Page to try to defend in that ad court. I think we're back to deuce.
Back to deuce. Really important game. This is our game 7 that we always say is just such a critical moment in a set.
You can just see Page over there. She just kind of, when Zubori's getting ready to hit the overhead, you see Page, a lot of footwork in that ad court, moving over to try to capitalize and continue to set up that forehand that is so rock solid. Look at that dipping ball. See you force the volley.
Yeah, huge dip, huge top spin. Zubori probably a half step or so behind where she wanted to be. When you have that set up, that's the right place because you got to cover the lob if you're the righty over there. But
right, and I was going to say Zubori's positioning I thought was perfect, but Page hit the ball dipping, and because the open space was in front of Hanisch, and if she had flattened that ball out, Hanisch would have made the volley all day of the week.
Lopez Page. Lopez Page lead the first set, 5-2. Ladies, new ball.
And Steve, I think that's the thing with Lopez and Page. Why, I love watching them as a team because they bring a lot of offense, but they hit the off speed. They can take pace off the ball, and they recognize when, it's to their benefit to hit that dipping ball instead of a harder, flatter ball.
It's not like recognizing my gloves.
So Lopez Page, 5-2 lead, first set. Number 4 seeds. A little bit of an edge here over our tournament number 2 seed so far.
Yeah, a lot of bit of an edge, and I think it was a quick start to 3-0, as you talked about earlier, Patty. But honestly, since 3-0, it's been really competitive. really good. I think the level in the last few games has been much higher, and they're still playing, really, really well. Not overhitting. You mentioned that last dipping, forehand by Taya Page. They seem to be playing, within themselves. They can obviously bring a significant level of skill and talent, but now that's B. Lopez there, and serving for the
15.
first set.
Lopez is the only player who hasn't been broken in this first set, Steve. You know what happened when announcers talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. 15 all.
Hey, Steve, did you get on a team for Team Nationals?
I haven't yet. There are
30-15.
teams forming. I know this year the men are in the Midwest, right? And the women are in New Jersey. Teams from Baltimore have been pretty active when it's been in Jersey, so we're trying to sort of get engagement. Everybody who plays Team Nationals comes back with not only a new appreciation for the sport, but just socially, everybody's favorite event of the year, it seems. Team Nationals is, the place to be.
It's big. And Steve, the women's, I don't know if you heard, we opened it up to 60 teams Monday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, we had 60 teams signed up for the Team Nationals.
40-15.
Wow.
So, Amin Kaduri's trying to work his magic, and we're going to try to figure out how many more teams we can accommodate. The more the merrier. It's just a bigger party. We just have to figure out the logistics of it all. And hopefully we'll be able to add on some more teams.
And of course, it just takes such a extended group. I know you've been very involved, Patty, but all the clubs, all the volunteers, all the people trying to support these events and put them on. This is probably the most complicated of them all, right?
Lopez
Nationals.
Page. Lopez Page won the first set, 6-2.
Well, Steve, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by Joho.
Want to see how volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of volley. Experience firsthand how volley's trainer can help everyone improve. Increase reps and track your progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Short Hills Invitational in Short Hills, New Jersey with women's semifinal action. Tournament number 2 seed, Flor Hanisch and Anna Zubori up against B. Lopez and Taya Page. And Lopez and Page, phenomenal start to this match. They won that first set 6-2. I'm Patty Hogan along with Steve Sullivan calling the action.
So Patty, off mic during the commercial break, you used the term rock solid. Mm-hmm. And I just think, that first set from Lopez and Page, it was really good because they are really good, but it was just solid. They didn't play over themselves. I don't know how, they have just such a high level. And of course, they got a few more free points than we may typically see from Hanisch and Zubori. The good news for Hanisch and Zubori is I think they have another gear. They have another level, but just rock solid from Lopez and Page in the first set.
Early on where you saw, Page and Lopez where they hit shots up the lines, they go over a little bit higher part of the net, but it kind of spreads out the defense of Zubori and Hanisch in a way, and they did that from the beginning. I thought that was an interesting tactic, which proved to be really good. And then the other thing, I thought Lopez and Page did a good job of dumping a lot of balls up the middle without a lot of pace, and I think that helped their own tempo. They have beautiful overheads. They have a ton of variety of their overheads. But I think that, just being able to dump that ball deep, soft down the middle at times kind of helped them as a team.
You saw earlier in this point, there's the tweener. Not a let court, so that level of difficulty there wasn't what we saw in the first set, but just unbelievable, just tough miss there, but
15,
unbelievable
30.
patience and stability when she's at the net to give herself all the hands options. And yeah, Zubori loves to keep things exciting.
And Steve, great close-up shot. Thanks to this amazing production team here at the Short Hills Invitational. But you can can't you feel the tension on Zubori and Hanisch's face a little bit, Steve? You didn't see any of that in the quarters this afternoon.
Yeah, I think I see a little tension now. At the beginning, I didn't see tension. I just saw them a little bit unsettled. Like they didn't quite look confident. They didn't look. I think Zubori and Hanisch have played better the last few games. Now they do. They look. There's a little bit of a concerned look on their face. They're trying to get the crowd involved. Flor Hanisch is one of the most positive. Her and Charlotte Sikora are just so positive, and they're trying to get the crowd involved. I think they're going to keep doing that, but yeah, at some point you have to either re-strategize or find another way. 6-2, it's pretty convincing that first set, and they need to figure out a different strategy, perhaps.
Yeah, I think they just have to play better, quite frankly. You know what I'm like, and they were broken, several times in that first set each, I think, and but that's kudos to the pressure that Lopez and Page can apply, and they anticipate that. So it's definitely messing with their shot selection a little bit, I think. Wow.
That's the best volley, I think, in paddle, and she executed it perfectly, but just positioning yourself on top of the net and sort of moving forward as the other person runs around that forehand, absolute masterclass from Zubori there. I just love that volley.
Great volley. You know who liked it? Lisa Roman liked it. She's enjoying the live stream. She's getting ready for Team Nationals. Wilton Rollers, let's go. Shout out to Alan Birchenall, Grandma again. Henry Birchenall, former junior Nats champ, and his wife Anna, welcomed Sophie Bell this week.
All right, we have a break point.
Game, Lopez, Page. Lopez, Page lead the second set, 1-0. Lopez, Page won the first set, 6-2.
That's the voice of Johan Carlson up in the chair. Bundled up on this cold night. Steve here in Short Hills. Everybody's getting ready for the storm coming in tonight. But I don't think Lopez and Page are worried at all about the storm. Just phenomenal showing from them so far in this match. And Steve, we got to watch them at the beginning of the season to now. How much better a team are they?
Oh, I think they're better every week. They had some early season success. I mentioned Baltimore, beating Burris and Elliott sort of in the semifinals was a little bit of a surprise to people. And I mean, it was just all offense the entire time, and they didn't miss. But you have to broaden out your game. You have to play a little more defense, a little smarter week in and week out. And I agree. I think they're just getting better and better. Paddle's a very strategic game. It's very technical about how to play screens, how to play defense, how to position lobs, like what things work, how to find openings, and I think they are on the upward trend. Like I don't see them plateauing. I think they're just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, and you talked about all the technical aspects, but it's so much the game within the game within the game, and there's so many nuances to the sport, and You know, the players at the top of the game, they get it. They understand, you know, shot selection. At certain moments, the score determines their shot selection. I mean, there's so many little parts of it that they seem to have an understanding that's well beyond their years on the court or off. They're both really young, talented players.
So if you're volleying up to the other team, you can see that Birch takes the offensive. 3-love now.
40-15.
Really nice patience, nice communication.
40-15.
All right, big point for 2-love.
40-30.
Again, I love the offense that Hanisch is looking to hit out of that deuce court. Little that court doesn't hurt, Steve.
They need everything they can get, and sometimes the momentum shifts that we see don't take a lot. So, you know, I think they need a little bit of momentum. They need a little bit of, you know, energy on their side of the court, and yeah, take the breaks you can get them. They're not done.
And what a serve right there
Game.
from Page. You
Lopez,
see how
Page.
deliberate, how
Lopez,
much time
Page
they
lead
took
the
right
second
there.
Set, 2-0.
And that's what I'm saying, Steve. That shows, you know, like an incredible amount of know-how and like wisdom right there in that moment to take their time on that serve, not to rush because it's so easy to rush. They're just staying in the moment. Page, you know, went for a serve, big time delivered, and they're up 2-0 on a tournament number 2 seeds, Hanisch and Zubori.
Love 15.
You know, the last match on the men's side, so we had a similar situation where Russell Benkind was serving to Stephen Mitchell, and not only is that righty serve to the ad court big that Taya Page has, but it's challenging Zubori. It's just so big and heavy. It's making her either hit an incredibly difficult shot or not allowing her to hit the return. So very impressive. Just huge motion, huge execution of that serve.
Again, Lopez sneaking way over to the middle. Hanisch identified that, threw the ball over there, but the speed in the hands of Lopez let her stay in that point. Wow.
Honestly,
Love coming in.
that is a tag. And Zubori, I love that, you know, acronym swinging volleys they call it, because it's so difficult to know which way to move first. You got to move sideways to get out of the way, then you got to move forward. I don't know how Taya Page stayed with that ball and got a racket on it, but I think she went target hunting on that next one.
15-30.
Yeah, and you can see Hanisch and Zubori, they realize this is a critical moment in the match for them. And that's, you know, we've always seen this. Hanisch is probably the team captain in a way for them. And they know this is the moment. And if you're Lopez and Page, Steve, what's your mindset right now?
Well, it's really tricky to not overplay or overdo what's been working. You know, stop thinking, right? I think the message to them is keep playing, keep doing what you're doing. Don't overthink it. You know, there's no need to change anything, but there's also, it's important they don't try to sort of overplay the offense. I think when you get into these situations, I like to, you know, press with defense, like be really patient, be really selective, make Zubori and Hanisch earn the point, make them go 50, 60, 100 balls deep.
30 all.
Yeah, they lost that point, but to me, that's a good point, a well-fought point. They didn't, you know, it wasn't an unforced error.
Lopez is really playing well out of that deuce corner here, and it served her well in the first set. I think she's got to be careful here. I just kind of feel like They're messing with her a little bit
40,
here because
30.
of her positioning, and I think maybe she doesn't have to look for her forehand as much. She's got to pick and choose a little bit. I think she's just kind of settling into that position, and it's letting Hanisch and Zubori kind of go into that deuce corner on her.
Yeah, she hit the last ball and moved forward with Anna Zubori on top of the net, right? So that is, you're right. She's losing a little bit of positioning advantage by looking for the forehand, but she's also a little bit over anxious, maybe moving forward.
Deuce.
So yeah, it's not just the technique and the digging, but knowing how to position yourself, sort of seeing the point play itself out and being in the right spot is really important. So really big deuce point here.
So you see the super deliberate, what goes on when Flor Hanisch gets ready to serve, and she's waiting for all the hand signals from Anna Zubori, even though they had a quick chat. They clearly didn't cover everything, Steve.
Oh, what a great dig.
Steve, the other semifinals, Burris and Elliott are up 4-love on Morgan and Sikora. Great combination of shots from Hanisch and Zubori, but again, the quickness and the anticipation, the hands from Lopez, turned that. She looked dead in the water.
I thought it was one too many offensive shots from Lopez, but it turned out to be the winning shot. Sometimes you have to take your medicine and get back in the point, but you're right. She just unbelievable athleticism, was in the right spot and caught Hanisch in the absolute wrong spot. Oh.
Game. Lopez, Page. Lopez, Page lead the second set, 3-0. Lopez, Page won the first set, 6-2.
So, Steve, so many people are enjoying the action, even up in Canada. Rob Mitchell, hey, Rob, we'll see you at Junior Nationals. Casey Artemenko is in Mexico enjoying the live stream. They're loving this, Steve. You leave town and go on vacation, but that doesn't mean you leave the APTA Tour. It's there live streaming every weekend, thanks to our APTA membership and our tournament sponsors, and to all our local sponsors. It takes a village, and everybody helps out making this pretty awesome event.
Yeah, the events are fan-friendly, but the APTA, they're investing a lot. They're investing a lot in technology, in the streaming. Great partners like this week with Joho, court director, live scoring. They're just doing a lot to make the overall experience for not only if you're on site, but fans near and far. A lot of people. I'm getting a lot of texts in around Baltimore. People watching the action today. So yeah, it's just a great continuous evolution of putting on great events.
And get ready, Mike Cochran, new pro in your area. Steve?
Larendale, yeah.
Larendale,
So,
Mikey Cochran. It'll never be the same. Congrats, Mike.
Great spot. Larendale, absolutely like one of the centerpieces of the Baltimore community, the Baltimore paddle community. So, great to have some outside talent. He's walked into a really great opportunity at a great club.
Former national champ. Hit a two-handed backhand. If it was a backhand or a forehand, I still don't know what it was. As hard as anybody I've ever seen.
So thankfully for me, he started the week after we played them in the league. I think he played his second league match this week.
Hanisch, Zubori.
All right. Obviously an important game, critical to get on the board. A lot of pressure for Lopez and Page to keep it going. So let's see if we get a hold serve here from Anna Zubori.
So, Steve, Lopez just served that game?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the first time she was broken in this match.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
It's good news for Hanisch and Zubori. Wow.
Yep, it's in.
Oh,
What a
my
shot.
Lord. Oh, that was
No
sick.
stress. No stress. A little debate on who, did it hit her in the face first, but no stress. The ball was definitely in. I mean, Anna Zubori has got unbelievable hands. Let's take another look. Thanks, Jake Delane.
Let me go for a passing shot behind the back.
Florentina Hanisch with a pick paddle to distract the other team. Yeah, just unreal.
Oh my gosh, the
Get in.
Zubori.
30 love.
Oh, you could just see that that wonderful mind of hers working. The wheels were turning there. And she's like, well, I just made a, behind the back passing shot. Let me try this one now. I mean, she's got every shot in the book.
Spot. She hit the same spot on the outside of the line, like
That's
one
right.
panel deep.
30-15.
That was ho-hum, a serve, Steve. There wasn't enough challenge for
All right.
Zubori on that one.
They also believe in their own heads, like that they have that confidence of champion. They know that.
Yeah, sometimes after those types of points, two of them in succession, this is where, the point means a lot more for Lopez and Page to sort of remind the other team, hey, we're still here, we're still competing, this is still our match. Even though this is not a game point, to me it's a really important point to sort of, I think, dig deep, make them hit 100 overheads, and when you get the shot, go for the shot. Yeah, Anna Zubori is about as calm as you can get when someone blitzes her or in any type of situation. Just sort of hold your ground.
That's always the amazing thing about watching paddle players, Steve, how just every year they play, they just seem to be able to wait longer and longer and longer before they even react to a ball. Good things come to those who wait in this sport. Helps in every aspect of the game. What a bullet from Lopez out of that deuce scored.
That was Matrix-like to get out of the way of that.
Burrs and Elliott are up 5-1 in the first set of the other semifinal, playing against Allison Morgan and Charlotte Sikora.
Game, Hanisch, Zubori.
Keep believing. Let's go. Let's go.
Lopez, Page lead the second set, 3-2. Lopez, Page won the first set, 6-2.
Corient is the official well sponsor of the APTA's 2024-2025 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at corient.com. So have we seen a momentum shift, Patty?
I think so, Steve.
Yeah, I think we have. I don't know that it's going to change the outcome. I think, let's see. But this is a game of momentum swings. They definitely, Hanisch and Zubori had another gear. They had, an ability to sort of change what was happening on their side of the court, reduce the errors, extend the points. Sometimes an artist like Anna Zubori needs a little bit of trickery to sort of get her creative juices flowing. So I'm optimistic they have turned the tides a little bit, but hey, they're still down a set in 3-2. So Taya Page to serve. A lot of foot action, a lot of energy coming from the side of the court. So really big game here.
That's Flor Hanisch about to hit that return out of the deuce court.
That was potentially one of the most difficult returns I've seen in a while, right off the board.
15 love.
But I like the idea from Zubori. She just, she's allowed to miss too. But I like the idea. She went for the off-speed ball cross court. She saw the open space. Just didn't make it. Again, another big serve. What a really deep, good serve. Just forcing Zubori to be a little bit defensive on that return. Steve, Hanisch, and Zubori have won 2 tour events on this year. We know Burris and Elliott lead the way with 5 wins, and Lopez and Page, they have a tournament win.
And Hanisch and Page have a tournament win.
And correct.
Ridgewood Classic a couple weeks ago, beating Morgan and Sikora in the finals. I thought they were a good team, played really well. Anna Zubori had an off week, so it was nice to see a little bit of a change up. It's definitely good to work on your game in different scenarios with, playing different roles, so that was nice to see.
And Steve, where are we in the season-long APTA Cup standings on the women's side coming into this event? Burris and Elliott, 1 and 2.
Ellie and Boris, Hanisch Zubori right behind them at 3 and 4. Paige sits at number 5, and Lopez is at number 8. I think that win, the Page got with Florentina Hanisch is sort of what pushed her, separated her from her partner. So we have, 3, 4, and 5 and 8. Halbauer and Morgan are also, sitting in sort of the pole position of the APT Cup, which is the season-long race. Additional prize money, but it's really that thing that keeps everybody coming out week after week to sort of chase that cup, that end-of-the-year prize money bonus. All these matches are sort of meaning a lot to the last 3 weeks of the season.
So this is a gigantic point, Steve, obviously. And it's a gigantic point for Hanisch and Zubori. Because Page and Lopez, I feel like if they go up 4-2, playing the way they are, I could see them. I could see them winning this in 2.
Yeah, you have to defend the attack and the onslaught, and sometimes if you get through, you just sort of coast to that last sort of stretch. But 2 game points. Taya Page is serving this game.
Yeah, I don't know about coasting, Steve. I mean, maybe you
No,
coast.
I mean, if they can withstand.
Yeah,
sometimes
I got
if they get the 4-2, to your point, you could see a 2-2. I could also see a 2-2. That this is a really, mentally, this is a big onslaught. Zubori and Hanisch have played a couple really nice games. If I am, Page and Lopez, I'm just going to make them earn it.
40-30.
Yeah, and Hanisch and Zubori have hit so many amazing shots that because of the speed of Page and Lopez, they've been able to negate it. They just can extend points. It looks like they're totally, dead in the water in some points. But because of their quickness, they can come back into it. Another great serve, just forced Zubori. Kind of a defensive type of return of serve. That's where I'd think about the depth on my overheads if I'm Lopez and Page. And wow.
Lopez, Page. Lopez, Page are leading the second set 4-2.
And Steve, the reason why I said, if they win this game, they're going to be tough to come back against in the set because they don't back down on anything, and they match up beautifully with Hanisch and Zubori. Similar skill set. They have every shot. There's no real glaring weakness, and it's more of a mindset. And as long as they can keep their discipline, I could see them. But on the other hand, Steve, it's paddle. And if we didn't have a 3-setter on a Saturday night, it just wouldn't seem right.
Yeah, this match is not over.
Not at all.
First couple points of this game, very important.
Nice shot!
Oh, she was hoping that ball was going to float. I think she was overthinking it.
Heck of a volley.
Great volley. And I said, Patty, that if you're Lopez and Page, extend the points, make the other team earn the point. The challenge to that strategy is it's not necessarily what got him here, and it's not necessarily how they play. So it's this balance of, just picking the right moments for the offense. No free points, but they're swinging away. It's working. They got a nice little let court there to their advantage. But, Lopez and Page are just looking very good at the moment.
Zubori took everything off and just dumped that ball and got an error from Page. I mean, that's interesting, Steve. It's a little telling. Page likes the pace.
They love the pace. They love the fast speed. Oh, boy. He was just out.
All right, Lopez is going to load up. Where's she going to hit it? I say down the line, Steve. Okay, wrong again.
I should have bet you.
That's right. So Page and Lopez switch there. Now that's B. Lopez over in the all black in that at court. And that's Taya Page in the deuce court. On a Zubori hitting the overhead. And Floor Hanisch to her right.
A lot of communication with Page and Lopez about those balls down the middle. I think Lopez assumes she should be hitting the forehand on most of them. Oh, just
30-40.
Dropped a little bit low. I like that shot. Just such a high level of difficulty.
Well, I just think she changed her mind. I think she had a shot that she was thinking about. I thought she was going to take it over into that ad court corner, but I don't know. And she screwed it up. She knows she screwed it up. That's all it is.
Yep, a little bit of what Brad Easterbrook calls hangdog, right? A little bit droopy shoulders. It's you got to find a way to sort of keep your energy, keep your positivity. Zubori's had a number of sort of untraditional errors tonight, but this is still a winnable match.
Well, and Steve, there's no easy point to be had out here.
Yep.
You've got to work your ass off for every single point that these players are getting, and you really can't bum out if it's not going your way at any time because there are so many momentum swings in paddle. You can see Lopez way over
I think
in the
he wanted
middle,
it.
still looking for that forehand drive throughout. And she's lobbing, deep enough that they can't sneak that ball into her deuce score corner like they were doing a little earlier. I love the height on the lobs.
Yeah, really good lobbing. She's moving way over, but she's lobbing really well.
Yeah, really tough overhead. Lopez paid the price for kind of sneaking out. She was, dashing, doing all the dart and dash, and sometimes it helps just to be still.
So that was a game point for 5-2.
And I just think so much offense comes to Lopez and Page. They don't need to force anything. I love that B is looking for it constantly out of that deuce court. But there's some other times where you just have to, throw up a couple more shots before you're looking to go so big. Return a serve, by all means, go after it.
All right, so Lindbergh's trying to serve out this first set, and Morgan Sikora just doing what they do. They move around, starting to tighten their game up a little bit.
Dave, other semifinal, getting a little closer. Morgan Sikora doing what Morgan Sikora do. They were way down in that match against Burson Elliott, but they've come back. It's 5-3, Burson Elliott over Morgan and Sikora in that first set. Steve, I feel like the middle is the play for Zubori's hitting a lot of shots there. I think that's really effective. It's kind of not giving Lopez and Page any good offensive looks. So you just gave her there. Watch out.
And Zubori is probably the best in the game at that sort of splash forehand volley. Can put it wherever she wants. Keeps it really low. I love that shot, and I think it's something she's just so good at. I think you're right. I think the middle, not only are you likely not to get into too much trouble, but
Advantage, Lopez, Page.
just missed.
And that's just the heat that Page can bring on that. And you saw Hanisch kind of on top of the net. She was in pretty good position. She had to get a little bit lower, maybe keep her paddle head up a little bit higher on that volley.
So what's the discussion, Page and Lopez? Swing away, go for it, we got this, or is it strategic? Catch your breath.
Make them volley.
Super,
Make them
yeah,
volley.
super big point.
Go
Make 'em
for
hit
it.
a volley.
Go big. You're making all your drives. Go for it. Put the pressure on. Just pick a spot.
Not even looking to drive except for like a push little shot.
Really good serve.
You know, I was kind of surprised Page didn't take a swing on it. It kind of sat up there for a little bit, and she's a high ball striker. But she passed it up.
I like these three-quarter pace ground strokes from Lopez and Page.
Given the score, I love it. And, you know, everybody's kind of in lockdown. Nobody wants to miss. Nobody's going for too much. They all realize how what an important moment this is.
Yep.
Dude.
Perfect execution, right shot, right time. Hit it in the right spot.
And Floor's like,
It's
come
just-
on, Anna, that's all you have to do. But that was a
And it's a
really
hard
short,
shot.
It was a really
Yeah.
short lob, Steve.
Yep. Yeah.
And Lopez and
Just a-
Page, you know, you could just see as the point went on longer and longer, I felt like they were getting in a little bit more trouble. But that's the great thing about them as a team.
Lopez, Page.
Who cares? They can have a heartbreaking point, and then it's over, and then they can bring the offense in the very next shot, bring the power, and force the volley error.
All right, another point. This is their third point for 5-2.
I mean, but clearly it says deuce on the scorecard, which is coming directly from the umpire. So that was an out call by Allison Morgan and or Zubori. And expression and call in. The umpire. So big, huge.
Oh, you just knew.
Dude.
Hanisch had advantage on Lopez right there.
Yep.
This is a short
What a
ball, and just that.
Great feel.
Yeah, that down-up shot. Just a little bit out of her reach. So they had a good talk, Steve. Little catch-up time. You know, they haven't talked in a while.
And you know they're doing everything right. They're also going to make Page and Lopez earn it, right? It's
Yet again, Zubori, Hanisch had to throw that lob up, Steve.
got to lob it.
Yeah,
Have to
they
lob
were-
that ball.
And they were at a huge disadvantage position-wise in that moment, so throwing up the lob would give them a little bit more time for Zubori to see that next shot and be able to recover and put the ball in play.
Yeah, she did. And then she got all the way back to make that volley. This is the next drive across court. Just heavy. She did. She kind of pulled it inside.
Their lobs are a little short. You get a little tentative, but they got to look for some height.
See, how much they're using the middle. Whoopsie, what a great
Page,
move from
Lopez, Page. Lopez, Page lead the second set, 5-2.
Steve. They were using the middle
Lopez, Page won the first set, 6-2.
really effectively.
Ladies, new ball.
And it's a little safer for the player from the left of the two players hitting that ball to the middle versus the player to the right. Because you've got to be careful about if it's a little too much pace that it can involve that ad-court player. And, you know, Taya Page is a special ad-court player, and she's got that movement, quickness, the hands, and she can hit that forehand, it seems like, any moment of the day. And 6-2, 5-2 lead for Lopez Page over our number 2 seeded team of Hanisch and Zubori. So I expect Hanisch and Zubori. Oh my Lord, they're gonna throw in every single thing in this game, Steve. And even though it's 5-2, they don't feel like there's much separation.
No, it's the margins are small, and the momentum changes can be quick. This is, you know, one of the best teams in our sport. Their view is the match isn't over, and they're, you know, it's the Grand Prix semifinals, Saturday night at Short Hills. They're going to compete. And a tweener.
I would
Why
have
not?
loved to have seen a drop shot from Lopez there because she had Zubori backing up. Ball was right on her paddle.
It's like in Spanish subtitles. It was an interesting set. What a way to lose it.
You see Lopez ran up for that. She knew Zubori was lining up to hit that drop cutter. She moved up, quickly got back in court. And that's what I'm saying, Steve. Their court coverage is phenomenal. You know, they're almost faster than they look, if that's a strange thing to say.
Oh, what a great cutter.
15.
Wow. Not fast enough for that one. Great finishing cutter from Hanisch.
Also a hard shot, especially given the circumstances. So just a brilliant cutter there by Florentina Hanisch.
Steve, in the other semifinals, Burris and Elliott just won the first set 6-3 over Morgan and Sikora. Oh, what a hands play from Zubori right there. Little lob volley, nothing to it.
Multi-break points to get it to 5-4 and put some scoreboard pressure on these guys. That's an unwise cut.
It's great hands from Hanisch and Zubori in this game, just kind of withstanding drive after drive after drive. So much pressure from Lopez and Page. So, Steve, the big question, Lopez and Page, you know, finishing these matches against these top teams. You know, there's only a couple that they can't get by, it seems like, on a fairly routine basis now. But when they've got these leads, they've got to figure out how to close out these matches.
That's right, and you know they're up 5-2. That's that was about to disprove what I was going to say, but they're playing really good paddle. They're still swinging. They're not hitting everything at 100%. You know, they're mixing up the pace. They're swinging away quite a bit. That was a really good point. They just got very, very, very deep into the point. So, yeah, this is really high level paddle. They're playing well, so I can't say there's anything they're not doing right at this point.
Love 40.
But Paige, you know, like she had to do something more with that shot. She can't just dump it out and stick it over to Zubori's forehand. You know, be more purposeful in that moment.
15-40.
There's a frustrating way to lose that set because they were working their way back into it. They get that game, they apply it, just totally different.
All right, 15-40. B. Lopez serving.
Game. Hanisch, Zubori. Lopez Page lead the second set, 5-3.
Not over yet.
That's right.
It's not over yet. This is, the peak of our sport. Huge lead, 6-2, 5-2. But at the end of the day, they're gonna have to earn it.
Yep, and I jinxed Lopez because I said she hadn't been. She was the only player who had not been broken in that first set, and she's been broken a couple of times here in the second set. Steve, it's amazing how that momentum can change a little bit, and you can feel the shift right now.
Nice coverage. Nice B. Lopez just getting that ball back on the court.
You know what I mean? It feels like Page and Lopez are a tiny bit tentative now.
All.
Here we go.
You know Lopez is looking to get a really good crack on this return of serve. Little miss hit, dropped in. Surprised they didn't take over the net.
Yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity.
Wow. Phenomenal inside-out forehand from Hanisch out of that deuce court.
Get in. Never disappoints. But this is critical, this point. Well played, hard fought.
15-30.
Steve, when people up in New Canaan at the country club go to take a lesson from Anna Zubori and they say, can you teach us that volley? Do you think she teaches them the behind the back before a traditional backhand volley?
They may have to sign a waiver or something. There's a level of difficulty, injury risk. I mean, geez, like, I'm sure, people love asking her to learn those shots, but I don't know how you teach it.
So Lopez Page, 2 points from pulling off an upset, Steve. Would it be an upset? I say it would be an upset.
It is an upset.
Wow, number
They're
14.
They're capable of it, but it is an upset for sure. Yep.
Again, Lopez and Page opted not to, give up transition because they wanted to take rips from the baseline, and they got another look.
Lopez Page.
Steve, they answered our question. They closed out the match against one of the big two. Huge win for Page and Lopez.
Huge win, fun to watch, really, really high level from, two of the best teams in platform tennis. More great things to come.
Yeah, great win for them. Steve, so we're going to wrap it up for today, but join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. from the Short Hills Invitational, where we'll be showing men's semis, followed by the women's finals, and then the men's finals. Night, everyone. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Macy Elliott, and my tip of the week is on your roller. A lot of times when I see people hit rollers, they tend to go over the ball because they want to bring it down and create more spin. But when you do that, you're actually going to create a lot of pressure on your elbow. So a lot of times when people get tennis elbow, it's from that. Instead, I want you to go straight up on the ball. and pretend like you're gonna finish all the way up with your knuckles to your ear. This upward motion will create more spin and it will grab less of the ball than if you were to go over it. If you grab too much of the ball, you don't get as much spin and it's not quite as effective versus going straight up the back and finishing up by your ear. I'm Macy Elliott. Hope you enjoyed this tip of the week. I'll see you on the courts.
Hi, I'm Anna Maria Zubori. I'm going to give you a tip how to adjust your drive in the cold weather. I find that some club players in the cold weather are just trying to get into the rhythm by trying to hit harder and harder, and that is one of the only adjustments. Instead of that, what I try to do, I try to look for different placement on the court. I try to bend my knees and stay low. The ball is not as bouncy, it's a little heavier, so without really bending my knees, the drive is not going to be as successful. So stay low, look for the compact swing, look for the openings, and with all of that, if all of that is working, the power is going to follow. I'm Anna Maria Zubori. I hope you enjoy this tip.
At Volley, we build tools to unlock your potential. The new Volley PTI feature breaks down your game like never before. Ever wondered, which partner has impacted my PTI the most? What's our win percentage as the favorite or underdog? Do I perform differently in 2 or 3 set matches? Now, it's all at your fingertips. The PTI tool is free to everyone. Download the Volley app today and level up your game. We'll see you on the court.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ong and I'm head of the Players Committee. The Players Committee looks out for the players at the tournaments. Having the tournament experience be good is such a great thing, so we want to make sure that the players are represented and the things that are important to the players are thought about. A lot of players have been talking about the quarterfinal reprieve. That is optional this year, so that's made the players happy. Starting January 1st, the number of tournaments that contribute to the players' rankings will go from 3 to 4, and the reason for that is the APTA Tour has gone up in the number of events in the last couple years, from 12 or 13 to almost 20 this year, and so we just want to take a larger sample size towards players' rankings. We're trying to figure out scoring formats too. The matches get so long at this high level that figuring out if no ad is right or when to do no ad and tiebreakers and stuff is tough. Also, the size of the draws. Traditionally, 32 draw has been the number for most of the tour events. One of the great things about charities is that we'll have a 64 draw so all the local players can play. But some of the tour events are leaning towards 16. I think they want single-day tournaments. The sponsors and the fans really like the Saturday night final. It's finding a balance between what's good for the sponsors in the tournament and court availability and things like that, but also growing the game and keeping everyone engaged and letting everyone play. I'm Andrew Ong, and if you guys have any comments, ideas, or things you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to me. Email, text, everybody has my number, and I really do care about growing the game in a good way.
Historically, Glen Oak is a golf-only club, but they wanted to add an extra amenity, and Glen Ellen has a huge community for paddle. We were lucky to pull 200 players from the Glen Ellen community.
Many members had played at the Glen Ellen Park District.
We were able to get a bunch of teams going, kind of right off the bat.
The facility has been an amazing addition to Glen Oak. It's really brought a lot of new ladies to the sport.
And it's not only the courts, but this beautiful paddle hut.
Having a place to hang out, relax, catch a game, as well as come and play paddle with your friends has been a huge attraction. As you come up the ramp to the sports complex, the first thing that you're gonna see is that large outdoor patio.
There's a fireplace out here on the main level.
You can drink and eat with your friends, as well as look out to the 9th hole where you can watch some golfers come through during the right seasons. As you head inside, you'll walk into our large lounge space and dining area.
There's a really long bar with beautiful light fixtures. There's made-to-order food.
We got a great bar staff, great restaurant.
You can get quesadillas and burgers. The ribs are awesome here.
We have a ton of bar seating and lounge seating. We have our cubby area where you can store all of your belongings. 4 TVs, an indoor fireplace.
It's a great place to come on a Friday night just to hang out.
Bring the kids down. It's very family friendly, so we've brought our families in on Sundays and kind of been teaching them the game.
Downstairs, you're gonna see a fully stocked bar, as well as 3 golf simulators, and our second outdoor patio, where you can hang out by our fire pit and enjoy the evening after you played. The membership loves the full year-round rackets operation.
There's a lot of different opportunities for all levels. We have children's programs,
couples paddle,
mixers.
Our other friends over at the Park District, we've invited them. We actually tend to call it the vortex sometimes. We'll come down here and we're all getting together and having so much fun, nobody ever wants to leave. So it's really been great.
We are at Glen Oak Country Club, and this is the APTA Hut of the Month.